Welcome back to Feels Like Weezer, where we're going through all of Weezer's songs, track by track, song by song, from the Blue Album to Van Weezer. And I am Eric Nash from Almost Famous Minute.
And I'm Zach Fracking Smith. You can follow me on Twitter at The Informal Log.
How you doing, Zach?
Oh, it's a glorious day.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the two best songs that were not on the Green Album that should have been. The two best songs that were recorded during the Green Album era.
This is the Green Album Outtakes episode, and yeah, you were talking about two songs, and as I think you were pointing out at the end of last episode, the whole Green Album recap, these two songs, there are plenty of, there are a few other songs that were released that were outtakes from the Green Album that were, put out, but they weren't put out in the U.S.
I know. What's
They've
the point
never
of that?
seen U.S. releases, but they certainly are available to us.
Right, exactly. Those are the kind of things, if we were to do like a Patreon or something, those are the things that we would be covering. So I'm just throwing that out there. Mm-hmm. Like, if Weezer put their grubby little hands on it, we're probably going to talk about it at some point. I'm pretty sure River's hands have been washed thoroughly. Didn't mean grubby. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Rivers, please come on the podcast. I start to like you soon. What song are we starting with, Eric?
I think we're going to start with Always.
Oh, yeah. Did you know that Weezer wrote a Beatles song?
Right.
I mean, like, how much do you like this song, Eric? I do have to know, because it sounds so much like a Beatles song.
Well, and looking at Weezerpedia, I mean, I definitely had a Beatles song in mind, but then Weezerpedia says some fans have compared it to
Here Comes the Sun, which was what I heard as like a non-super fan of the Beatles, Yeah. Like that guitar picking at the beginning, the acoustic. I was also looking at the comments on it.
I can see that, yeah. Well, see, what really caught my ear in listening to this song, and it wasn't right off the bat. They come in a little bit into it. Are the strings?
Eleanor Rigby too. Halfway through, that was what I was thinking.
A little bit Eleanor Rigby, but also I would say Yesterday as well. Because really, with what Weezerpedia says right before that, is it says it consists only of Rivers Cuomo on vocals and acoustic guitar, backed by strings. That's exactly what Yesterday is.
Yep.
For Paul McCartney. So purely from a instrumentation and arrangement type of thing. But I totally understand now. I didn't quite understand until you said it, the guitar picking at the beginning. I could hear it in my head just now when you said that. It's like, okay, I see it. Here Comes the Sun. And then when I said the strings and you said Eleanor Rigby, I understand that too. The Eleanor Rigby does have those little more sharp jabs.
Yeah.
That come into play at one point, at least at one point in this song. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like this tune. Mm-hmm. As much crap as I give the Beatles, and as much crap as I give Green Album Weezer, I think this song is great. Mm-hmm. It's really catchy. It's very sweet sounding. Sing Your Love to Me Softly, and it's just, it's a good tune. It's a really good song. I would definitely put this, as we were talking last time, this would have been my post-crap song. I think that this would be a good, because it sounds completely different from everything else. And I guess that kind of explains why it's not on the album, because it's not very power poppy, which is what they were going for. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I am a fan. I'm a big fan of this.
I'd be interested to hear if there could be somewhere tucked away somewhere in Rivers, storage or some such, a version that was more power poppy. Mm-hmm. But like I don't think I've ever heard, more power, more rocky, more whatever of those three Beatles songs either, though. Mm-hmm. You know, everyone always does them pretty on the low key side that they originally were done.
Yeah.
The other thing is that you know, it's just that it's even more, I think, low key and toned down than Butterfly. I mean, Butterfly has these certain elements to it that, you know, it's pretty pointed at what he's trying to say. Whereas this, I mean, this is just it's so much more a ballad than that is. That's for darn sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think whenever you throw strings in anything, in the way that they did, you know, it just immediately makes it a little calmer. So this song, there were two different versions of it, as well. One got released on the international singles. That was, let's see here. There was an incorrect short edit, which was discovered by Rivers after its release. And then they did a longer version that was on a single exclusively for France. The CD on that was called Three Tetra Inédits. I don't know. I can't speak French. It means 3 unpublished titles. You know, send your emails to feelslikeweezer@gmail.com. And, you know, tell me, or maybe I'll just talk to Duolingo, see how it says. Anyway. But this was supposed to be, like, shrink-wrapped with the main CD, this album, apparently, in France, which I thought was interesting. But since it was so popular, they're like, no, it's fine. So, I don't know. That's a fun fact.
Well, the last thing, you know, to talk about how it was released was that it was actually, and this is the reason we're including it. You know, its U.S. release was on another Kevin and Bean compilation.
God. So
Swallow My Eggnog.
I'd like to go through again.
Some of the,
and talk about some of my favorite titles here. We've got Swallow My Eggnog, the titular title. Oh, and can we talk about the cover of this album, which is just, I don't get it. It's like something we would Photoshop together at the top.
It's definitely not the one I did not want to do.
Right, yeah.
Our own version of this.
Although, I don't know, I think Photoshopping our faces with the Kevin and Bean and then putting the 4 guys on the ladies here, I think that would have been perfect. I'm just saying. So we've got Clint Frostwood by Chillas, which is
and it has to be a parody of
Clint Eastwood by the Gorillaz. It has to be.
Right. It has to be. I'm gonna seek that out. That's for darn sure. Because I love that. I love that band.
Exactly. I do. I love the Gorillaz. They're great. Then we've got Cooking with Walking. Christopher Walken. Get Your Dreidel On by Pootie Tadao. Harry Blotter and the Sorcerer's Bone. This is so stupid. Like, that is like the lowest hanging fruit. Last Christmas by Jimmy Eat World, which, come on, like, Last Christmas is a great tune. Silent Bob's Christmas Memory, which
that's Kevin Smith.
I'm assuming it's going to be,
he jumped
like
in and
3.5 minutes of just silence.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what I would do if I was that. Let's see here. Little Girls and Hobos by the Naked Trucker and T-Bones Show, which, I mean, don't we all know what that is? Johnny Knoxville's A Very Jackass Christmas. Happy Holidays, You Bastard by Blink-182. This is probably the best title. I'll Punch You in the Face for Christmas. Don Quixote's Christmas Bonanza by Gorillaz. So they're on here. Under the Mistletoe with Mole. I'm assuming that's about weed. Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas by Coldplay, which I really need to find that. Because I do like Coldplay, and that's my favorite Christmas song. So
I'm sure I've heard that. If I don't, I might even have it. Some other way.
Things I Want by Sum 41 versus Tenacious D. And
I wonder how that verses comes into play.
I'd be interested. You know, like this album, I honestly would be interested in listening to, but at the same time, do I? Do I want to? If only I could hear Jackie Chan's Christmas Message. You know, it's the best Christmas message. Afro Man's Christmas Joint, and of course, Always by Weezer. And there's some other ones in there that didn't have funny titles, but like really, like some of these, it's so stupid. Anyway,
and it sure seems like this song that we're covering here, and this of the two we're covering, Always, on this compilation album, really kind of that stands out the most. I mean, you wouldn't know it just right off the bat. But upon listening to it, I mean, it has to compare to so many of these other songs. I mean, it's not about weed and it's not about Christmas. So.
The two most important things in life. Oh my God. I just swallow my eggnog. What a dumb title. Kevin and Bean, I'm disappointed.
After the highs of the last one.
The highs of the Real Slim Santa.
Yeah.
I just, I think it's rough. It's a rough transition. You got anything else for this one?
For this one, there are, because their other one does have this one. I really couldn't find anything, even when I just searched it on YouTube as well. No covers.
Yeah.
And that's what I was kind of getting at. I mean, I just have to wonder if someone, I mean, if Rivers didn't, could someone, I'd be interested in hearing it like halfway towards power pop.
Right.
Of the rest of the album.
Yeah.
And that, and kind of, it's almost like that's how it maybe could have been included at that halfway point.
Yeah. And I don't know. I still think that just having it in this release, just slam it in there, it would have made the album 100 times better. Just to kind of break up that monotony.
Yeah.
One last thing. On Weezerpedia, this was released in October, 2001. They misspelled October. Mm-hmm. I just thought I'd throw that out there. I mean, I cut that out. That's not funny.
You could edit that.
I could, but I just want to... Well, now, that if I edit it, the joke that I just said won't make sense.
Yeah, people will go and say, no, it does say October. Duh.
Zach, you did a bad idea.
We actually put in the time. One of us. Well, you or I, maybe. Because who else is going to this song on Weezerpedia and interested in...
Our legions of fans, Eric.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, them. Yes, right. Yes.
All 10 of them. All right, so the second song.
Yeah.
Here, set me up for it. Ask me if I want to go to the second song.
Zach, do you want to talk about the next song?
I do.
Oh, wow.
It's a good joke. That was the joke I did before, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And when I thought we were segueing into I do, but no. This works. This is fine. This song, I liked it. I didn't like it as much as Always. But it's different, and that's what I think is important when we're talking about these B-sides, I guess, the outtakes. I don't think I would put it on, but it just as a whatever, I might put it on a, as a closer for a mix CD I make, but...
Well, and shouldn't this be really called Always Part 2?
Honestly.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's interesting that both of these songs, to me, they kind of have this, like, wedding feel to it as well, Like, because Always, I'm always going to love you and stuff. And then, of course, I do with your vows and all that. But, I mean, I don't know. I guess that's the only thing that connects the two to weddings. you know, but yeah, I mean,
I mean, they're connected to each other. I mean, yeah, I'm not being specific enough, but
right.
The reason I say always part two, because it's definitely he sings it there like at least four or five times. He sings the word always.
Mm-hmm.
You told me that you'd always love me.
I did, and I'm sorry, Eric. It's just I can't do this anymore.
Oh.
Solid joke. Everything landed. Well, actually, he says it quite a bit. This should be always part two.
And otherwise, if you don't include that chorus, which is just the one line repeated between for the two lines of the chorus, essentially you only have like a couple verses, and then this very weird out that cuts off and is like, what happened to the song?
And that's one of the benefits, I think, is because he keeps it short, he keeps it tight, and it works.
He's playing the ultimate, and I've watched a YouTube video on this a couple times in this past half year or so, of when in the lyrics of a song they have the word stop, and so the singer sings it, and then the arrangement, whoever the producer, whoever is behind the scenes calling for it, puts in a second or so of silence. It was an order from the singer for everyone to stop, even though it really wasn't. It really doesn't make that much sense.
Yeah,
what else was being said in context with it. But so in this case, he sings for this last two very short lines. Nevermore again will I believe the sun.
Doot and doo doo.
So it's a much more flourishy way of saying stop, and that's when the song does stop.
Yeah. Another way it connects to always is that because it sounds like Here Comes the Sun.
Yeah. Well, no. The thing here is that apparently a lot of Weezer fans believe it is
right.
Remark and derided, sometimes derided for its similarity to Billy Joel's song Leningrad, which I know so much better than this one.
I honestly don't know that song.
Yeah. I mean, it came out on Stormfront when I was 12 years old, and I loved my dad's collection of the 2 CD best of set. So I went and bought this one of my first CDs I bought. Stormfront, and it's on there, and I know all the songs on it very well, and I can see its similarities. I'm not going to deride Weezer for it because I really doubt.
Right. That it was intentional.
Yeah.
Or if it was intentional, it's more of an homage than,
Yeah, right. It's not that close sounding.
Yeah,
The song Leningrad actually has a lot more going for it. I mean, this song essentially sounds like a demo track, a rough track. And whereas Billy Joel and his standards, and I don't know that I've ever heard a demo track of his. I don't think he puts those out.
Right.
he's very polished, and I mean there's key changes in it and stuff in Leningrad, and you don't have that here.
Well, and this is I mean, it's a good song, and I mean, it's
a nice little ditty.
After we're done, it's a nice little ditty. After we're done, I'm probably going to listen to Leningrad because I just want to compare it. But I honestly think that these should have been included in the album. And this was in the UK and Japan. That it was included as the last track. So, why we didn't get it, I don't understand.
Why we only got it on US retail CD single / US retail 7-inch black vinyl. Ooh.
But
as a B-side, it was a B-side on
exactly. And
for the CD.
I don't know. I think this would have been a great way to end a very mediocre album. That I think could have pushed it up to another level, because it does still it feels a little bit like Pinkerton still, So you can have that.
Yeah, it's got that some distorted guitar that comes in and out at different points.
Right. And the fans of Pinkerton, were upset with this because it didn't sound like Pinkerton. Whereas you can have a little bit at the end, almost as an homage to those fans, saying, "Hey guys, we heard you. Thank you for supporting us." I really think, I don't know. I think US got the shaft on this. Us got the shaft.
Yeah.
I think this would be a good ending to the album. It would have been a great ending to my feelings on the Green Album as well. Do I want to listen to this album again? I do. Do I want to listen to it always? No. That was forced. It was hokey. So you got anything else? Did you have any covers of this one? Besides Billy Joel's Leningrad.
Right. Did Billy Joel cover this?
Well, yeah, with Leningrad. No. That was,
the one cover that I became aware of is the Molotov Cocktail Piano cover. So it makes sense. Piano is very heavy in this.
Yeah.
And we didn't talk about that. It is kind of, it's a little more of a slightly synthesized, a little bit maybe or something. It's not a real acoustic sounding piano. It's got a little something on it.
Yeah,
a little special sauce.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we need.
Going for it.
Yeah. Throw a little special sauce on your Weezer. That sounds very dirty. So overall, I think I'm glad to be done talking about the Green Album. I like I kind of said last episode, it's a decent album. I wish they would have. I think if they included these two songs and took out "Godforsaken Crab," everything would be fine. Everything would have been all right in the end.
Yeah.
But
everything will be all right in the end eventually.
It is true.
When we get to it.
When we get to it, everything will be all right.
But we do have, before we come back for Maladroit, there will be one more.
Yes.
Song we will cover.
Which, this is my favorite thing about the podcast, is that we take these random things and we include it. So then we're going to be talking about a song from WWE Tough Enough 2 that was released around this time. And later we're going to be talking about what was the one that Cars 2, the Cars 2 soundtrack.
Yeah.
The Shrek Forever After soundtrack. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. The classic film Cars 2. Were you a big wrestling fan? We'll save that for the podcast. We'll save that for the next episode. So yeah, that's there's Green. We're done. Praise be. Anyway, do you have anything else, Eric?
I think I'm good.
All right. Well, I'm Zach Franken-Smith. You can follow me on Twitter at The Informal Log.
And I'm Eric Nash. You can find me at Almost Famous Minute, which is part of the Pantheon Podcast Network that this show as well is on.
Yeah, check us out.
Plenty of other great ones.
PantheonPodcast.com. Lots of really great podcasts on there. At least 2 of them have talked about Weezer, so they're our favorite podcasts. But if you want to keep in touch with us, you can do so on Twitter at Feels Like Weezer. You can join the Feels Like Weezer Listener Society on Facebook. You can also just follow our Facebook. You can just click that lickety-like button at Feels Like Weezer on our Facebook page. And then you can also send us an email, feelslikeweezer@gmail.com. And Eric, are you tough enough? 'Cause it feels like
Weezer. So this is the Green Album's...
What a weird noise.
Okay, I'm starting over.
That's fine.
You can pull that stuff into the end.
Oh, I absolutely will.